Today, I think you could look at sleep apnea as one of the largest markets for any disease anywhere in the world. Recent estimates said that some form of sleep apnea might be present in up to 1 billion people in the world, making it one of the largest medical markets that most people don't talk about. So we think of Somnera as a company that can really bring a solution to literally millions of people in the US and of course throughout the world. And that's our mission, to really treat sleep apnea and provide an alternative that might be much more acceptable and easy to use than the current treatments like CPAP.
Obstructive sleep apnea is a common condition in which breathing is interrupted during sleep because of obstruction of the throat. Often it's associated with snoring, sometimes with daytime sleepiness. Commonly it's associated with serious medical conditions such as diabetes, heart disease, stroke, and even dementia. We've introduced therapies to treat sleep apnea to normalize breathing during sleep, but all of the therapies, as they've improved over the years, still come short of achieving comfort, portability, and good efficacy.
The Somnera technology was designed specifically to address many of the problems created by the current product, CPAP, or Continuous Positive Airway Pressure. In CPAP, we don't really have a science problem. We understand the disease and we understand that pressure in the airway created by the CPAP machines actually opens the airway and it works. The problem is a comfort problem.
When I started looking at the efficacy of CPAP, how it worked, and its downsides, I was struck by the fact that it required so much air to be blown into the patient's nose and mouth to achieve its effect that there just had to be a way to get that same effect with less air. So the Somnera technology centers around the smart valve that is housed in the mask for the Somnera system. And the valve itself is quite sophisticated, but by the same token, quite simple. This valve is energized by the patient's own breathing. It's not electrical, but it's energized both by the breathing and then controlled by the computerized air box that forms the base of the Somnera system.
I find the Somnera system very exciting because with the Somnera system, you don't have to breathe against that rush of air that you do with the CPAP device. It's good for claustrophobia. It's also good because you don't have to use the humidifier. You don't have to worry about infection control with that. Tubing is stretchy and pliable, and it rotates so that you don't get tangled up in it in bed. I just find it much more comfortable than CPAP. My advice to someone considering trying the Somnera device would be go for it. You're going to get the best night's sleep with the least amount of airflow. It's amazing.
Somnera might be a really good fit for specific types of investors. On one hand, the med tech space in general is such an attractive place for investment because of the demographics of aging across the US and across the industrialized world, but also med tech investments tend to be recession-proof. Somnera is really launch ready at this point. We've completed our manufacturing transfer, so all of the tooling and molding and all the assembly instructions and all of that stuff is finished. We're actually producing commercial inventory as we speak. We also have our management and team in place. We've identified our launch partners, and we've got all of our FDA clearances and registrations done, as well as reimbursement approval and many of the other structural things, such that the investment in Somnera now is truly an investment in launch. In this market where you have nearly 1 billion adults across the world who might suffer from a disease, and you see that so many people refuse to be diagnosed because they don't like the available solutions, and then you see even more people who have tried it and quit because they can't stand the existing solutions. You see that there's a real opportunity for a new technology and a new solution, and that's why Somnera is here.